Welcome to the Jacob Wayne Show 2021.
Woo.
We are in the future now.
Yay.
How are you doing, Kellen?
I'm doing good. You know, that's not necessarily the new year, but other new things that are coming will hopefully improve things a little bit. So I'm optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic seems to be the name of the game this year.
Exactly. It's like, come on. It can't be much worse. Come on.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I don't want any of that hold my beer 2021 nonsense. Just let's go into this easy. We're going to still be dealing with COVID probably till fall. A lot of people are kind of predicting that might be the time it starts to finally regulate.
Yeah.
But we'll see, I guess.
We're still in the thick of it now, so.
Yep.
Got to keep doing the things.
For sure. So, this episode, our main subject is going to be all these amazing musicians that passed away last year in 2020. I just figured we'd spend some time giving them a quick little tribute, just make sure that people know about it, and because we're getting most of our information from the NPR article that came out, and I was going down it, and I probably didn't know 75% of the musicians on there, so there's always something to discover there, and there was a lot of people we lost this year, so.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot of them by name, but I knew a large percentage by associated acts and songs and stuff. Like, looking through, I was like, oh, that's cool. So, yeah, it'll be fun to kind of make a run through that list.
Yeah, and just, got to give the tributes when you can.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, we'll do any other entertainment news. Been watching any movies this last week?
I didn't get any other movies in. Been watching a lot of old westerns and stuff. That's what's been on my dad's been watching on the TV, so I've been,
like old western movies, or
yeah, I think some of them are all the old shows, but yeah, I'm trying to think of the one we just watched. It's got the one meme everybody shares, or the guy's like looking over his shoulder. Jeremiah Johnson. Finally saw that one. That's the one. He looks like a Zach Galifianakis, like looking. He's wearing like a brown coat. He's like looking over his shoulder. Okay. That's
and
not
just
Zach
slow,
Galifianakis.
Like, dignified nod.
Yeah, that's from this Jeremiah Johnson movie, and I always thought that was like some weird Zach Galifianakis thing I've never seen. But that is this other dude.
I think you're giving Zach Galifianakis quite the compliment there. That guy's a studly man.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to say that Galifianakis isn't, but I don't know if I see the resemblance so much other than the beard. But a movie I watched was pretty terrible. But as I sit and think about it, I'm like, maybe it's fun to watch because it's so bad, but it never quite reaches that. So it's like not bad enough that it's good. It's just like kind of just boring and bad. But the movie's called Ma.
M.A.?
M.A. Ma. Hey, Ma, give me some pie, Ma. Whatever.
Huh.
But it's starring Octavia Spencer, who's a really good actress, and she was a great actress in this as well. And it was directed by Tate Taylor, and I looked it up, and he's directed the movie The Help, which kind of blows my mind. That movie came out in 2011.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, I feel like I'd only recently heard about that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And like 2016, something like that. But that kind of surprised me. Then he did The Girl on the Train, which I wanted to see but haven't seen yet.
Heard
And he
about that.
did Get On Up, which was one of Chadwick Boseman's big roles, I think,
Uh
but
huh.
I haven't seen that either. So he's done well loved, good stuff, but with this one, it was for the production company Blumhouse, which does all these low budget horror films, and they've done stuff like Sinister and uh, I think what's that other one horror movie? It's like Sinister or The Purge. Anyway,
Hmm.
sometimes they're really good. Sometimes it's just like, what is this? And I think this was what is this?
Ah.
Basic premise: these teenagers need a place to go drink and party. So they meet Ma, who her real name is Sue Ann, but she's like, you guys just call me Ma. And she gets alcohol for him one time, and then she kind of starts to become obsessed with them
Oh.
and invites them to come party in her basement. And I'm not going to give any spoilers away. I still think, if you want to go see it, go see it. But it basically turns into a horror film where she's having flashbacks about being bullied in high school. And so if these kids are like mistreating her or don't want to always hang out, it's like driving her crazy. So she kind of goes on a murderous rampage.
Whoa.
But it has like songs like September from Earth, Wind, and Fire and
Yeah.
Kung Fu Fighting. It's just like,
Man.
you'd think it would be
I
good.
know none of what you're saying makes me think this is a bad movie, but
I know, but it's played so bland, like serious teen drama. And then
oh.
it'll cut to Octavia Spencer, and then she runs over some lady jogging, and then September. And it doesn't lean into it hard enough though. So like you're like, okay, here we go. But then it just goes back to some teenage melodrama.
Ah.
And it's like, I don't So I'll give a shout out to Octavia Spencer though. Like she did as much as she could with what was going on in it. And it's totally her movie. Like the teenagers are forgettable.
Yeah.
There's nothing way too dynamic beyond that. So that's what I watched this week.
Nice.
You been playing any video game in particular?
Oh yeah.
What have you been on?
An old favorite that I played. It's been a couple of years since I played it through the first time. Stardew Valley. They just
Mm-hmm.
released a giant update that adds a whole bunch of late game content and a whole bunch of other just cool content. So definitely recommend checking that game out if you're into that kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
So Animal
Now I'm still
Crossing.
trying to learn these. What would you classify it as, do you think?
I would say it's hard to classify. It's more for fans of like Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon. It's like an
Mm-hmm.
old top-down kind of Pokemon Earthbound style
It's
game,
like
but
task oriented
yeah,
kind of thing.
you're a farmer in a little
Yeah.
move to a little town and you try to get to know the townspeople. It's got a really cool little relationship thing with all the townspeople. You learn their stories. There's a
Mm-hmm.
mine. You can fish and you grow stuff. And it's just, it sounds so simple, but it's insanely fun how he put it all together. It's the one guy made the whole game too. The soundtrack
Oh, I
is
didn't know
awesome.
that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
A game that you and I are going to start picking up pretty soon is Starbound, which
Mm-hmm.
I think has elements of that, but it's also comparable to Minecraft and Terraria.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited to get into that. I do need to try Stardew Valley again. I do tend to like murdering and killing things.
Mm-hmm.
So the game I've been getting into lately is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice,
Ooh.
and that is from the production company called From Software. They're known for the Souls series, like Dead Souls, all that stuff,
Oh
and
yeah.
so the game is brutal. Like they're kind of known for that. It's action adventure, and you're just taking out bosses and underlings, and everything can kick your ass quickly if you don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
And but I really like it. And I was sitting there thinking about it. Like, this is frustrating, but it reminded me of how frustrating like old Nintendo games could be.
Yeah.
Like, you'd want to get so into the rhythm and memorization of, I guess, like muscle memory of it all, that yeah, you just keep coming back even though you die like 20 times in a row in one spot.
But that feeling when you finally get it and you've been trying for
Hmm.
like hours, yeah, that's that's a
Yeah.
nice feeling.
So, I mean, other than when we're hopping on and gaming, Sekiro's like, just sit on the couch, get comfortable, try to be zen, don't let it get the best of you.
Yep,
Throw nothing.
exactly.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I've been up to as far as entertainment stuff goes. So, you ready to jump into the musicians?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, right before we get started, we'll do our beers, whatever we're drinking.
Oh yeah.
So I'll pop that.
Mm.
What are you sipping on tonight?
I've got the an old favorite, the Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA from New Belgium. Very,
Voodoo Ranger.
very
It's a
tasty.
good one.
Let's see. This thing's boozy. I don't remember how much it is. It says somewhere on here. But yeah, it's up there. It's like 10, 9, 10%. Yeah, 9%.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
I didn't realize that.
it's real nice. I found a 12 pack of the cans. It's like, oh sweet.
Mm, gets the job done.
Oh yeah, just need one and time for bed.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying something a little different. It's all kinds hard kombucha.
Mm.
It's called Tropical Turmeric. It's a pineapple, turmeric, and passion fruit flavored kombucha. It's
Oh.
6.5%, so not too shabby.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not my favorite, I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're really into kombucha, you'll like it. But I would just say there's nothing like particularly um nothing in particular that really stands out about it, I guess. Just feels like, all right, it's not kombucha-y enough. Kind of almost has more of like a cider vibe.
Yeah.
But that is definitely something I'm trying to find more of, is I like the hard kombucha. So,
That dyad. That's what I always reach for when I'm down there.
see, and that's kind of what I was wondering. Is it just that I'm spoiled by the dyad? I
That's,
almost picked that up, but this was new. It was a little cheaper. I was like, I'll snag that and try it.
yep. You are spoiled by the dyad, though. Yes.
This is true. Dyad's so good.
Mm, I miss it.
All right. Well, we're not really going to do this in any particular order. I just went down the list and kind of wrote down the musicians I recognize and why it kind of matters to me that we're not going to be getting any more music from them.
Cool.
So,
Well, maybe I'll jump between yours or something. I don't know. We'll figure it
oh
out
yeah,
what
we'll
happens.
just go back and forth unless we're both like, oh, yep, that's one of them. So,
Yep. I bet we're gonna start off with the same one.
uh, okay, let's try this. We'll go 3, 2, 1, and then just say it at the same time.
Oh yeah. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Neil
Neil
Peart.
Peart.
Haha.
There we go. You know, supposedly the way you say that last name is Piert,
Piert.
but I feel like that's a GIF kind of thing. Like I'm like, no, it's Neil Peart.
I mean, you could. I'm sure maybe he like hated it too, but everyone on the planet pronounces it Pert, so you might as well just get
Yeah,
used to it.
I never heard it until he passed away, which I guess was earlier in the year last year.
Yeah, the January
Um,
7th. Yeah.
hmm And I mean, for those that don't know, it's the drummer for Rush, a very math funk rock classic rock band.
Yeah.
and he's regarded as one of the best, if not the best drummer of all time.
NPR literally says Canadian rock deity. That's
Deity.
That's a pretty big.
Yeah, he's probably
yeah.
deity level.
He is. I am personally not of the thought that he is the best drummer of all time, but he is a fantastic drummer.
Certainly. And I mean, he's
maybe most influential rock drummer.
Yeah,
I would
I
say
think that's probably what I would say. That's kind of the element that gives him the deity level, is he's just had such a massive influence. And
yeah.
But I mean, isn't it YYZ or something like that? It's like like
yeah,
people know that. And they don't even have to listen to Rush. And
they have some big ones.
But yeah, he's a great drummer. Rush is a great band. It's too bad they're not going to be making any more music, but hopefully Geddy Lee kind of decides to do a little something, or I don't know. Anyway, rest in peace, Neil Peart. Take a tiny sip for that. All right. We don't have to do the countdown every time, so I'll just go with my next one.
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers.
Okay.
He's not a musician. I know his stuff very well, but it's definitely a name I know. So,
yeah,
it's a well-known death. I know the thing that was said also, since it was near the beginning of the year and right before COVID hit. He passed away, so it was like you got to know when to hold him and know when to fold him. And so when Kenny Rogers folded,
right on
everything
time.
went to shit. He's like, It's like he knew.
For sure. Let's see, if I'm not mistaken, he also wrote "Just Dropped In," which is one of my favorite songs. I love that song from Big Lebowski. Yeah. So
that was just what I was about to say. I was like, he did a song for the Big Lebowski soundtrack that is just, it's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's such a cool song. Like the little riffs, how it changes key every verse, and sweet.
So, you know what? Maybe I need to do a deep dive into Kenny Rogers.
Worth it.
Learn more of his stuff. I'm sure at least the greatest hits would be an amazing compilation.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so you jumped down the list pretty far. So I'm just gonna. I got just a few shouts. I'm gonna do some quick ones. There might be one that I stop on for a sec. Sean Reinert was a drummer with Cynic and Death. I listened to those bands. I was getting into some metal. Reed Mullen, founder and drummer of Corrosion of Conformity. I know those guys. Saw them live a couple years back.
Yeah.
Let's see, the voice behind the song Mr. Sandman, Lynn Evans Mand. I just know Mr. Sandman. I really like that song. That's it.
Yeah, it's classic.
Yeah. Lyle Mays is a jazz keyboardist, longtime member of the Pat Metheny group. He's a legendary keyboard player in the jazz scene. Joseph Shabalala, which is a great name for the founder of Ladysmith Black Mambazo, the choir group that performed on Graceland. So, just fantastic. And yeah, that's a great name for a guy who leads a choir. It's awesome.
For sure.
Rolling down here, McCoy Tyner. He revolutionized jazz harmony, says NPR. He was in the John Coltrane Quartet. He was known as a free jazz pianist, just like hardly anything planned, just like here's a couple of notes we might think about while we're playing. It's totally out there. So, and then I saw this other one. I mentioned it to you. Genesis Breyer P. Orridge. I don't know how to say her name. Lead vocalist of industrial band Throbbing Gristle. I'm just giving them that a shout out because Throbbing Gristle is a fantastic band name.
Yeah, I didn't know who she was, but I stopped on the picture because it just kind of found it striking, and then I'm like, oh, Throbbing Gristle. I was like, All right, I might need to check that out.
That's a good band name.
Yeah.
Cool. I am caught back up. So what's your
Okay.
next one?
I do not know any of those, and so this is what's good about you and I doing some music discussions because I feel like we can cover a lot of ground.
Yeah.
And rest in peace to those folks as well, and all the more reason to check out new music. And I wonder how many of those drummers. And that's where we get into that again. It's like, how many of them love Neil Peart? And then how many of these metal drummers like, I could do that. But it's all part of the fun.
Indeed.
My next one is Bill Withers.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. That's some good music.
It's a big name. I'd say kind of bluesy, soulful, just singer-songwriter stuff.
Yeah, so many different R&B soul hits. Like so many songs that are like, they got that next level. Like they're in the culture. Like everybody knows. Like he's got just a list of songs that just like everybody knows. They're in movies. They've been recovered, redone. Yeah, so many.
The meme that was going around about Bill Withers before he passed away, it's one of my favorites. Because it's like when you're on the phone with your mom, and it just says me, and it just plays a song. I know.
Yep.
It's just like, yeah, that's great.
I mean, just the two of us, Lean on Me, Lovely Day. Man, so many.
What's your favorite song of his?
Dude, I do love Ain't No Sunshine. Like, that's
really
a jam.
Good. My personal favorite is Grandma's Hands.
Oh, yeah.
That guitar was sampled in one of my favorite songs as a kid, No Diggity.
Oh, nice.
It was like down, 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 down. Mm-hmm. It's great.
Yeah. Sweet.
So, do I need to jump to my next one, or you got something in between?
Yeah, I got something to catch up with you here.
Okay.
First one is one I have to shout out as a banjo player, Eric Weisberg, who known for the surprise hit "Dueling Banjos," another song that made it deep into the American. Everybody knows "Dueling Banjos," and everybody knows quotes from that movie that most people haven't seen.
Deliverance.
Yep.
Shockey was going to show it to me, and we just keep pushing it off. I think it's because we know what's in that movie.
Yeah,
we're just like a little nervous. Ain't gonna lie.
You should wait. I'll want to watch it. I've never seen it either.
Okay. Yeah,
we'll do it all together.
Do that for sure.
Okay. This next one, I have never tried to say his first name. Krzysztof Penderecki is a composer from Poland, and I only know his best known work is "Threnody to the Victims of Hiroshima," which is a really cool, interesting modern piece. Very, very different than what you would normally think of when you'd think of an orchestra piece. But yeah, it's really
the subject matter is what I imagine it is.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty. It's out there, and definitely worth a listen.
I'll have to try that out.
So, yeah, just a few of those. So back to you.
Okay, this one I actually was curious about because you would know more than me. I noticed Ellis Marsalis, and he said member of like the Marsalis jazz family, and I know Wynton Marsalis.
Yeah,
my buddy Jeff showed me some of his albums when I was kind of trying to wrap my head around jazz as a teenager.
Yeah,
and one of the ones he gave me was Wynton Marsalis, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, he's great.
I need to get back into it again and like really digest it more. But what's the relationship there? Do you know?
Oh, it says here it's the patriarch. So I think he's the dad of all of them. So
he's daddy.
Yep, and he was a pianist as well. So yeah, Wynton's definitely the one that probably is the best known name, but all of them have done pretty well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
And right after him is
Yeah.
Bucky Pizzarelli, who is
Ooh.
was an old session guitarist, and they call him a jazz legend. I saw him like 4 or 5 years ago down in Salt Lake, and he was on stage with like 8 other guitar players, including some of like really young ones, like some of the young hot guitar players. And
Mm-hmm.
man, he wiped the floor with the whole stage. Man, he wasn't playing like super fast. He was like wasn't trying to just show off. He was just playing the tastiest stuff. He had
Mm-hmm.
awesome lines. It was so good. So
Remind me that name again.
Bucky Pizzarelli.
It's a good name.
It
Bucky
is.
Pizzarelli.
And his
Sweet.
son is still a performing, recording jazz musician, also plays guitar. Um, Maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I cannot stand his voice, but he is a great guitar player.
Fair enough.
So,
All right. Well, the next one that I don't know anything about him, but when I heard about him passing away, like people were like, "Oh my God!" Like they were so upset.
mm-hmm.
Was John Prine.
Oh, yep, that's me. I was one of the people who was quite sad to hear him.
So what's his tale? I know he's one of the greatest American songwriters, as I
Yeah,
saw a lot of people put.
yep, that's it. He just wrote some of the best songs. He wrote Paradise, uh, Angel from Montgomery. He wrote a really fun one, In Spite of Ourselves. That's like uh, it's like a lady and a guy like singing back and forth. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm trying to think. He's got more balls than a big brass monkey. I caught him once and he was sniffing my undies. Like just funny
Hmm.
little lyrics like that. And yeah, he
Yeah,
wrote some just amazing songs. And his voice, he just had such a personality as a performer too.
yeah.
So yeah,
Did
that
he
was a
come up
bummer.
kind of in the Bob Dylan era, like the folk '60s stuff, or is it he even older than that?
Uh, so he was like born in the 1946. So he's coming up in Chicago. So I think
Mm-hmm.
around the same time. Yeah.
Okay. Would you define him as like a folk singer kind of thing, or is it a little different?
Yeah, I'd say folk singer songwriter that definitely changed the game a little bit. He was a pretty groundbreaking, just how he
Mm-hmm.
did it. Pushed the envelope. The songs were funny and just touching and real good stuff.
Yeah. Most of what I read was that he was just an amazing lyricist and poet.
Yeah,
Rest in peace, John Prine.
indeed.
You got any in betweens there?
Nope, that was my next one. So,
All right. And the next one, I like to be honest here on the Jacob Wayne show.
dun dun
Little
dun.
Richard. I thought he had already passed away.
Nope.
Like, and I was like, oh yeah, 2020 was the year. Oh yeah, yeah. Like, I don't know why. It's just and it's actually a compliment. I think it's not music I listen to a bunch, but he's just so ingrained into American culture, like
hmm
some of these other guys, that it's just like he has such a classical feel to him that
Yeah.
you're just like, yeah, he must have passed away like 2000 something. Like, I don't know. He just seems like he will be one of the angels of American music. So,
Uh huh.
it's all out of respect, but yeah, it's like the king of rock and roll. Not maybe not the king of rock and roll. I guess that was Elvis's. What did they call it? It was like the king of pop or something. I don't know. No, that's Michael Jackson.
Yeah. He was
What
the
did they
king of
call
singing.
him?
I don't remember. Sexy dancing.
Maybe the prince of rock and roll or something. But he should be the king. I think he beats Elvis.
Well,
Shots fired. I know.
yeah. I don't know. All the people who love Elvis, there's not too many of them. And they probably don't listen to the podcast, so you're good.
Fair enough. And I mean, I like a fair amount of Elvis tracks,
Me
but
too.
Little Richard, he's just
He can be the king emeritus.
he's the king in my heart.
There you go.
All right, so he's a total classic. We don't really got to go over his stuff. If you don't know who Little Richard is, which I guess there's some younger folks that might not, look into him. He's a huge personality.
Yeah.
Like, just go watch an interview.
Yeah, you'll have
You
fun.
don't even have to watch or listen to the music.
You'll enjoy it. Nice.
So, rest in peace, Little Richard.
Indeed. Okay, I got a few. Lee Konitz, alto saxophonist. He's the last surviving player on Miles Davis's Birth of the Cool. So he was a big, lots of recordings of him, just a pretty legendary saxophonist. This one I don't know that well, just the bassist for David Bowie, Matthew Seligman.
Okay.
So gotta give him a shout out. Make sure I'm not missing any other ones. Richie Cole is another saxophonist. NPR says, who tirelessly tended a bebop flame. That's just that's interesting
cool.
little
Nice
description. Yeah. So, yeah, just another one. That's another one I haven't myself listened to too much, but I've heard him mentioned by people who know what they're talking about. So, yeah, that's it for me. I'm back caught up with you.
All right. So the next one, this was a big one for me personally. A lot of these musicians we've mentioned, like I like them and I respect them, but like they didn't quite hit home as hard. But Ennio Morricone, the film composer, maybe it's Ennio. I'm not totally sure how you pronounce his name, but one of the greatest composers for film, like ever. And I know a personal favorite between the two of us is the score for The Hateful Eight, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Tarantino talked him out of retirement to come do music for that. He just sent him the script, and I believe Ennio composed the first song of the film. Like, after reading the script, he's like, okay, yeah, I want to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's done so much music for spaghetti westerns. He's an Italian composer, so a lot of his work is in Italian cinema.
Yeah, he did. I think he did the Good, Bad, the Ugly, right?
Mm-hmm. Ecstasy of Gold.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my favorite songs from film ever.
Yeah, so he did that famous. Yeah, well, that's so good. That score's amazing.
Yeah, so definitely cheers to Ennio. He's one of the greats.
Indeed. Okay, I'm gonna jump in on a few. Jorge Santana, which I did not know that Carlos had a brother, but apparently he played with him, and he played in some other bands. So another just Santana guitar player. So probably it's kind of hard to be like Santana's brother and like share the name Santana and not be able to be like, I'm Santana too. But yeah, it'd be kind of weird.
I am also Santana.
I am Jorge. That's cool. That's a cooler name in all honesty. Like just as solo, just if Santana had been Jorge and he just called himself Jorge instead of Santana this whole time, it'd be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to check him out. It would be interesting to see how he's different from his brother.
Yeah, that would be cool. Next one's Jimmy Cobb, who is a paragon of modern jazz drumming and the last surviving musician to play on Miles Davis's Kind of Blue, which is my favorite Miles Davis record. I think it deserves the hype, and that he's an amazing drummer. Like, you ask drummers who they like, and most of them have mentioned Jimmy Cobb. Like, I've been to a few drumming master classes, and I know quite a few drummers. We've talked a lot, and Jimmy Cobb was a big influence on a lot of people. Was
he on Bitches Brew?
I think that might have been that other guy or somebody a little later. I'm not sure. Okay. I don't know the discography that well.
Yeah, I remember Bitches Brew is like kind of a flag in his discography, like a moment where there was some different things going on, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Another jazz guy, Freddie Cole. So he had to emerge from the shadow of his brother, another one, Nat King Cole.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Nat, he's old. He was born in 1931. So yeah, well, he was almost to 90 years. So
Wow.
cool. And then next one's Charlie Daniels, who I've heard some things about him as a person who maybe wasn't that great of a dude, but man, he wrote "Devil Went Down to Georgia," so that song
Yeah.
kicks ass.
Yeah, I'm definitely the type of person that can remove the art from the person. Um, we all have our demons, and some are worse than others. But there's a thing about I feel writing music that when it's done and it's recorded, or if it's performed for you live, that kind of goes out into the ether and kind of belongs to everybody in a way.
Yep, for sure.
And so it's like, yeah, Michael Jackson's Thriller. I'm still gonna listen to that whole thing. I'm gonna still watch Woody Allen movies, but I don't begrudge you if you're like, you know what, I heard about what that guy did and I just can't do it. Like, I'll be honest, one of my favorite stand-up comedians is Louis C.K. and
Mm-hmm.
he's still hilarious, and I still listen to him. But things did change a little bit after I found out what he did. Like, you listen to his comedy a little bit differently.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's like, yeah, oh, yeah, interesting. The guy with the masturbation bit did that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it does change things. So, yeah.
Indeed.
Just, you don't got to be hard on people that still find enjoyment out of the artwork. So that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, for sure. Sweet. I'm all caught up. So.
Okay. Another one that I just want to give a shout out to the group is Malik B, an early member of the Roots.
Yeah.
I can't really go that deep with the Roots as far as knowledge of everybody's name and their role, but there's just another group that is incredible, and I feel like they've really weaved their way into the American culture and psyche as well. And
Uh-huh.
The Roots Come Alive, I still think is one of the best records to put on if you have work to do.
Nice.
Like, either if you're at a pizza restaurant cooking up, I know I threw it on a lot there. If I have to clean the house, maybe I rip a little something something and throw on that album, and I feel great. I'm just like ready to go. And it's just one of the best live albums ever. I sometimes don't really enjoy live albums, and yeah, it hits the mark.
Yeah, there's some that are, it's the way to go with some bands for sure. Yeah, just a little bit before him, a couple of days, was Peter Green, blues rock singer and guitarist, founder of Fleetwood Mac. So I do like like the Mac.
I guess I didn't know the name as well, but yeah, I remember that when it happened.
Had to throw him in.
Yeah, cheers.
So
next would be Toots Hibbert, or the lead of Toots and Maytel.
Oh dang. Yeah,
I think we mentioned him in an earlier podcast.
I remember that, yeah.
But yeah, just he's probably a reggae deity.
Oh yeah, big time.
And yeah, they're just a great band. Yeah, patriarchal
of
deity
reggae.
of the reggae.
Yep, exactly.
You'll have to forgive me. This kombucha's a little burpy.
Got the feels.
No, yeah, that's a great group. That's one that I do listen to in my personal listening quite a bit. And if you ever want like amazing reggae covers, that's where you go. They just did some of the best covers. So
yeah, and one of their songs they wrote is really good too. Yeah, Jimmy Buffett channel plays it a lot. I like it. So
cool. Do you remember the name of it?
I could not think of it right now, but
all right.
I can hear it in my head.
Between there?
Yeah, classical guitarist Julian Bream. So he's a guy I heard about a lot through my education. Yeah, go listen to Julian Bream's recording of that piece. So just cornerstone classical guitar player. Apparently, he played lute as well. So
Oh,
Yeah.
don't know many lute players.
No, me neither. I've only met
I feel like
one.
Sting plays the lute.
Really?
I thought, yeah, and it was like something I pulled up once that I can't remember the name of the song specifically, but people know it. It's like, I'm sending an SOS to you.
Yeah.
Um, he did like a really weird medieval lute cover of that,
Huh.
which on one level I respect it, and then on another level I'm like, come on, man, play it like it's a hit. Play it the way it goes.
Yeah.
But he's Sting. He can do whatever he wants.
I played lute in a concert, so I guess I am technically a lutist.
A lutist.
I've been known for lute behavior.
It's like being the best guy at the lute. Nobody gives a shit.
True.
This is a David Tell joke that I just rearranged a bit.
There you go. This guy's the best lute player ever. See, nobody cares.
Nobody cares. After that, I'd say Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, we had our nice tribute to him. You can go listen to that episode.
He's a deity.
But yep, most congenial.
He's on that council table.
Yep, he's up there. He's going to be, all the guitar players that come through are going to have to answer to him.
Did we ever discuss what your favorite Van Halen song was?
I think so. But just Running with the Devil if we didn't.
Yeah, Running with the Devil. It's just great. But Hot for Teacher, I mean.
Yeah, that's also a good one.
Man.
And I the one that gets stuck in my head randomly is Panama, so. Like that one will pop
I've
out of nowhere.
Grown to really enjoy that song for some reason.
Yeah,
it was always kind of like, I kind of dig it. And then just, I don't know, over time, maybe I just like to let loose and party like it's the 80s.
Yeah. Oh, so this is just a totally random thing.
Sure.
Just getting older. A song from my past came on. Semi-Charmed Kind of Life.
Oh, yeah, man.
And that bass line is so funky. I had never noticed. I just want to shout out that bass line. I have never realized how funky it was, and it makes the song. Like, I'm like, that is funky as shit. I enjoy it.
I highly recommend that entire album.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
Like, Wasted a Whole Year in particular, or Wasting a Whole Year. What's more 2020 than that?
Indeed. There you go.
So that's Third Eye Blind. Is it just Third Eye Blind self-titled?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it has all the hits on it. It's like Semi-Charmed Kind of Life. Losing a Whole Year. There's other ones.
Nice.
So many big hits. Anyway, I highly recommend that album. Look at it.
Yeah.
The Jumper. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. Good tune.
Okay. Anyway.
Well, there you go.
Are you caught up?
Actually, there's this one right before Van Halen. The same day. Just the guy who wrote "I Can See Clearly Now." Yeah, that's a classic song. That's been big hit. So nice, optimistic.
I used to when I worked at an after-school program. Sometimes I'd be the guy that opens up. Mm-hmm. So how it works is you open up for an hour or two. The kids go to school. You leave, and then you come back when school's out, and you take care of them until their parents can pick them up. And it goes as late as 6 p.m. So in the morning, sometimes you're making them breakfast, just getting them ready for school that day. And so obviously nobody wants to be up that early.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the songs I'd throw on and just like sing obnoxiously as I'm cooking breakfast for them.
Nice.
And just like, and just like, but it would cheer them up and get everybody going.
There you go. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. The next one is MF Doom, a very recent. As far as people knowing, from what I read, I guess he had passed away in October, but the family didn't want it out there necessarily right while they were grieving, so it was announced December 31st. So a very
wow.
recent one. And another one that I'd listened to him a bit, and I definitely knew his impact. He's definitely a hip hop deity.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna pretend like I know his stuff super well. That is one where I definitely saw the reactions through my friends group. Um,
Yeah.
he was a huge influence on a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Had you ever listened to him much?
Not much. I have heard a couple of tracks, but
Yeah. No, I definitely would recommend it. And I spent the day kind of going through his stuff, and I was like, okay, I know that one. I know, all right, yeah, and yeah, rest in peace, MF Doom.
indeed. Well, I got just one other one between those. Just another one I don't really know. Just think it's worthy of a shout out. Viola Smith, one of the first female drummers, known for her 5-decade career in orchestras, swing bands, and popular music. One of the first professional female drummers back in.
A female drummer?
Yeah.
They allow that?
And she also was apparently 108 when she died. So cool.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Sounds like she kicks ass.
Yeah. Probably still playing the drums.
Yeah. Man, that's definitely one good thing about progress. I think is you learn more and more about these amazing women that did stuff just as good as men, and just obviously there was a time when it wasn't as known.
Yeah.
And yeah, just now we get to know and research and lift everybody up with some equity. So
Indeed.
yeah, rest in peace.
Indeed.
So yeah, that is the list, I think, as far as anyone's that we
Oh, yeah.
can comment on. I would recommend pulling up the NPR list. I'm sure there's other lists out there,
Yeah, this is
but
a good one.
that's a really good one. And if we missed one and you think like, wow, how did they not know that person? Then
Well,
write us
yeah.
and we'll
I got a
give it a
few
review.
more actually. So
Okay,
let me
see,
let
there you
me
go.
clear out here because there's a few that I really actually know well. So
Okay.
first of all, the bassist for Cynic, who was apparently a professor of music theory, Sean Malone. He
Hmm.
died. That's too bad. Charlie Pride was the first black country music superstar. We play a
Okay.
couple of his songs in the country band I'm in. They're pretty fun for good
What's
old
one that
country.
you play?
Kiss an Angel Good Morning.
Okay.
So, it's a pretty good tune. So, yeah, some nice stuff. The next one is pretty recent. Yeah, December on Christmas. Apparently, he died Christmas morning making his coffee. Tony
Damn.
Rice, just one of the best bluegrass guitar players of all time. Like he was
Wow.
hollowed in the names of bluegrass before he died. Like, in fact, like for the
He's a
first couple of
deity?
years, yeah, totally. He's in
Okay.
the bluegrass. He's probably
In the Hall of Bluegrass.
the god of bluegrass guitar, like flat picking guitar. He's probably the big guy. He started it all.
One
So,
of the greatest pickers there was.
yep, bluegrass paradigm shifter. That's what NPR says. So
Ooh.
that's a pretty good one. And that,
Paradigm picking deity.
yeah, just amazing. What is this? Church Street Blues, I think, is the one song. It's really good. And man, he has some stuff with Bella Fleck, like his band that
Hmm.
played at this one bluegrass festival is just always so good. Like the Tony Rice All Stars or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
some good stuff in
I have
there.
my buddies in Woodbelly that are educating me. I feel like they did mention him
Yeah,
at one point. But I'm still, trying to retain all the names, so I could be wrong.
yeah. There's a lot of them. But that concludes the list for me.
All right. Well, like I was saying, if we missed a name, write us at fakoshka@gmail.com and we'll review one.
Indeed.
Maybe a whole album or something like that.
Yeah.
This is something I've been pretty excited about and talking about music.
Uh-huh.
I think it's time for Dear Jacob Wayne.
Dear Jacob Wayne.
And so we were talking about last episode, like, well, what do we call it? Like, do we make a little stinger for it, like some horns and stuff? So I ended up making a little stinger out of the last episode. So, you ready to get into this?
Yeah, roll tape. Well, that was lovely.
That was fantastic. I mean, just top quality, just singing and horn work.
I don't know. How did you hire those session musicians to come play those trumpets?
Well, dude, they just respect us as a music podcast, and they wanted to be a part of it.
Well, we are lucky.
Yes. So, what do you got for Jacob Wayne advice?
Okay, here we go. So, apparently all the events in the story happened pre-corona. That's a thing you tell people now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I just called it Jacob Wayne advice. Let me say that again. What do you have for it, dear Jacob Wayne?
Yeah. I didn't even notice. Here we go. I, 23-year-old female, met a guy, 29-year-old male, through a dating app, and we hit it off instantly. He lived about 6 hours away from me, and we fell in love hard and fast. We spoke on the phone daily, texted constantly, and realized we had so much in common and seemed perfect for each other. After talking for about 6 months, we finally got the chance to meet. He bought me a plane ticket and flew me to Oregon to join him on a business trip. It was amazing. While we were talking, I was under the impression that he was going through a divorce, but hadn't publicly announced to friends and family yet.
Oh, boy.
So his social media pages indicated that he was in a loving marriage, but the story he told me was obviously different. During our little trip, I began to realize this was all a lie. A few weeks after we got home, I confronted him via FaceTime, and he told me the truth. He had never had any intention of leaving his wife. Naturally, I broke things off with him. I told him that either he needed to tell his wife or I would. He told her later that night and sent me an audio recording of their discussion. But the things he was saying made me think he was being purposely vague about our relationship to his wife. I didn't trust him to tell her the whole truth, so I reached out to her via Instagram and briefly told her my side of the story with a few key details. He pursued the relationship. He said, "I love you to me first," and he paid for me to join him in Oregon. I was worried that he portrayed our relationship as a drunken one-night stand, which was obviously untrue. Some friends have told me that I should have never reached out to her after she already knew he was unfaithful. I personally think there's a huge difference between cheating on someone with a one-night stand and what he did. I thought she deserved to know the whole truth, and I didn't trust that he told her that. So, anyway, was I in the wrong for telling her the truth? Should I have just trusted that he would be honest? Does it matter how he cheated, or just that he did cheat?
Listen, 23-year-old woman using a
willing hedgehog
7-year-old dating app. Like, where to begin with this? You did something wrong, unbeknownst to you.
Mm-hmm.
You hooked up with a married guy. The guy took advantage of you. And, yeah, maybe you could have done a little more research to know a little more about the guy before you go out and meet him in Oregon and have this amazing weekend. Like, maybe, get to know him a little bit more. But whatever. You were going for it. You're jumping into love, as some people say. And you found out that he was married. Right there, you should cut him out of your life.
Big time.
He's a lying piece of shit. But, look, we're all human. We make mistakes. I know I've made similar mistakes in the past, and I'm learning and growing from them. And one thing I definitely learned from all that is if you get caught up in a situation like that, you need to just let it go. You were way too involved in his life beyond the point of finding out, oh, he lied to me, he's a cheater. Fuck that, I'm out of here. Now, I can certainly appreciate you want to let the wife know. because that makes sense and that's important to share. But I think at that point, if it's that important for you for her to know, you just need to contact her directly and don't give him the warning. He's already a lying piece of shit, so fuck him. You tell the wife if it's that important for you to have her know. Yeah. Or one might wonder, did you do this whole thing because you wanted to keep him in your life? And you're doing this whole dramatic runaround because you want the drama and the runaround.
That's what it kind of sounds like.
Sounds a little bit like a 23-year-old dealing with a 29-year-old on a 7-year-old dating app, or however old Tinder is. That's probably what they used, I would imagine. But yeah, that just all sounds like a mess. I don't get why people involve themselves in such things. And like I said,
indeed,
I'll be super real with you. I don't get laid as much as I would like. I know, it sucks. It's hard to believe. But in my 20s, it was just like that was one of the most important things for me. It's like, what am I doing? Why am I not getting laid every weekend? Every day even. Ah! And, you know, I made some decisions working at bars and stuff, like hooking up with people and, like, why did I do that? Yeah, choices were made. Feelings got hurt. But it was never worth it. Yeah. I mean, because my right hand's still my number one lover.
Yep.
Righty knows me better than anyone. And to think that I was going to turn around this crazy, angry, back and forth passion at a bar into lovemaking and maybe this relationship will work. No. It's just me being stupid.
If old Righty calls an Uber, you get to go with.
Yeah. Sometimes I text with Lefty just to make Righty jealous so he really lets me have it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Good advice. Thank you, Willing Hedgehog. Hopefully that wasn't your name on Tinder.
That explains it. Willing Hedgehog got a little upset.
Yeah.
Burrowed up into a little ball.
Yeah, what a prick.
And had her two-tailed fox friend follow her around as she gathered coins to fight 29-year-old Dr. Robotnik. All right. Let's get into some weird news. I got one for this week.
Nice.
So I've been a little enamored with alien UFO stuff this last year.
Yeah, it's been a good year.
I tend to think generally, yeah, there's probably life out there. Have they been here yet? I don't think so. I'm not big on conspiracy, and I think that would be such a huge event. I feel like it would be more well documented than it is, but I could be wrong easily. But that's kind of where I stand on it. But I know we read some weird news where a representative from the Israeli government said that Israel and the United States had been in contact with an intergalactic federation of planets or societies, whatever. And they had a base on Mars and they were interacting with them. And I thought, well, that's something really odd for a government official to, state out loud. And he said Trump knows. Trump hasn't talked about it yet because he made an agreement. But so
which is why we know
also, yeah. And once again, reported from IGN.com, the most reputable site I can think of.
Yeah.
The headline is, the latest COVID-19 bill includes a 180-day countdown for UFO disclosures. So, in the $2.3 trillion COVID-19 relief and government funding bill signed by the United States President Donald Trump includes a 180-day countdown for the Pentagon and spy agencies to reveal what they know about UFOs.
Oh boy.
So, as reported by New York Post, this countdown was not part of the original 5,593 page legislation, but was a committee comment that was attached to the Annual Intelligence Authorization Act and then put into the COVID-19 bill. I'm going to stop right there. There has to be a way that we simplify the bill creation process.
I know, it's just ridiculous.
It's called pork barreling, where all these representatives throw on the little stuff right at the end. And basically everybody in the United States, like a regular U.S. citizen that doesn't understand how our government works, gets pissed off because then they think that both parties are just signing on to all this stuff. And they're like, see, they're all the same. They all just vote for the same stuff. When really what it is one senator from, say, Ohio. He's like, the only way you're going to get me to sign on is if we do this little 180-day countdown. Meh.
Yep.
And people are so desperate to make sure that the government doesn't shut down that they sign on to it because it's like, well, we got to pass our defense spending and we've got to pass our budget for the year or stuff shuts down. So, all right, whatever. UFO disclosure bills. Blah.
Okay.
It needs to get broken down to, are we doing $2,000 as a relief payment or not? And just vote on that. And there's some assholes in the Senate who are holding that up.
Yep.
One gigantic turtley asshole.
Stupid, dumb.
The one thing that Trump and Democrats, I think, may have ever really agreed on is we got to do $2,000 checks. And AOC and Bernie Sanders are like, yeah, we've been trying to get that for a long time. And so you finally have like some sort of consensus, and Mitch is like, sounds like socialism for the rich to me.
What if somebody that has money got more money? Let's give all these tax breaks to corporations instead.
Yeah. And you know what? It kind of brings me around. I think Mitch McConnell might be one of those, people say it's lizard people.
Oh, yeah?
It's turtle people.
Oh, boy.
I think he doesn't want this UFO disclosure thing to happen.
The aliens are here, and they Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, it's just him.
Don't make me go back to my home world.
I hate it. It's swampy and cold.
Give me all your lettuce and grapes.
Yeah. You know how much lettuce he steals?
Oh.
He keeps us from getting our lettuce.
Indeed.
He was just running around stealing the food lettuce from the rest of us.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think... And did you see his weird purple turtle hand?
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah, I'm telling you, his human costume is melting off.
The turtle is coming.
The turtle's coming. And he's scared. He's got 180 days to find a new shell to hide in.
Yep. You can find his office number. I encourage you to drunk dial Mitch McConnell and leave him a voicemail about why he's a turtley asshole.
Yeah. I think he's the worst politician we have right now.
He's making
he's
the
worse.
most
He's
problems.
Worse than Trump to me.
Oh yeah, big time. Because without him, he wouldn't be able to do anything. He's the one that makes him actually be able to do damage.
Yeah.
So.
And we might have that one listener on here who's like, we worse than Pelosi too, almost. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Why not? Just throw them all in the same category. Not do any research. Sure.
Either way, let's do something about it.
Yeah. But this article came out 30th of December, so
hot.
180 days from now. That's about 6 months-ish, right?
Yep, I think so.
So 6 months from now, we better get some info.
Be able to read it on the beach in August. Read about all the UFO knowledge we have.
You know what's actually interesting?
What's that?
Have you ever heard of the Oracle bones?
No.
And I'm going to screw this up because it's been so long since I learned about it, but the oracle bones are ancient hieroglyphics written on a turtle shell, and that they were the foundations for the Chinese language, Chinese written language.
Oh, wow.
To be specific. So there's the oracle bones, and you can see the development of the writing within that turtle shell and how they've evolved over time. And it's one of the first things you learn about when you study Mandarin. So, see, the turtles were here before.
Interesting.
5,000 years ago, the turtles came.
Wait, Mitch was there? Oh, God.
Not Mitch, his older brother, Bitch.
Oh, word.
Bitch McFucknell. All right. Yeah, I guess we got pretty Joe Rogan-y right there at the end, but I think this is going to be all good.
Yep. Write your senator, especially if it's Bitch McFucknell, and let him know how you feel.
Exactly. All right. Well, with that, it's our first episode of 2021. We got a whole new bit of artwork for you.
Woo.
And what did we decide when we want to release this on Mondays? You think 6 a.m., something like that?
It's going to be up Monday morning.
Monday morning.
Yeah, maybe if you're even up late Sunday night, you might be able to find it, but it'll be up Monday morning.
Yeah, I don't know if we've actually ever discussed this. I wasn't. Kellen he uploads the audio onto our like Spotify and Apple Store and wherever else you listen to
now on
podcast streams. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We are now on Stitcher, on that note.
Oh, Stitcher.
Hello, Stitcher listeners.
They're going to be our biggest audience. Just you watch.
Yeah.
And then I compile it together and throw it up on our YouTube channel, which you should look up the Koshka Network on YouTube. And you can get our band videos and our YouTube and our podcast videos.
So much entertainment.
I know. Unbelievable. So I usually set our uploads as instant premieres, but now that we've recorded a little bit earlier than Monday, I can set it for a specific time. So,
ooh.
Yeah, so I think I'll go for 6 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for the YouTube videos, and then, yeah, the audio should be up Monday morning.
There you go.
Cool. Well, good recording with you, Kellen, and you have a good week.
You as well. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to The Jacob Wayne Show. If you would like to contact us, please write us at fakoshka@gmail.com. That is FAKOSHKA@gmail.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Simply search The Jacob Wayne Show and it should pop right up. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. Please write us. It helps add content to the show and makes the show even better for you, the listener. Thanks for tuning in. Well,